Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:36 p.m. and I'd like to welcome everybody. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:36 p.m. and I'd like to welcome everybody tonight to our special general meeting. I'd like to announce that we do have quorum tonight. And I would like to now ask if anybody has any conflict of interest to declare. Anybody have conflict of interest to declare for tonight? Can I see show of hands? Okay. All right. All right. Seeing none, approval for agenda. So can we make a motion to approve the agenda except for one change, which is item number 5, ratification of campus director for Ashtonby. Unfortunately, we did not have any candidates who applied for campus director, and hence we won't be ratifying anybody tonight for that position. So with that, can somebody move to approve the agenda as presented? Miguel, seconded by Mateos. And next, I'd like to call upon Sam for president's updates. Oh, sorry about that. Everybody in agreement for approval of agenda? Any disagreements? Simona, you cannot vote. Okay. Motion carried. Next, I'd like to call upon Sam for president's updates.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our special general meeting. Thank you for coming out tonight. So today I have a relatively short update for you. So during our annual general meeting in October, we updated on the 7 deliverables, the 7 goals that we have for this year. So I will just be stating them again, so you're aware of what the goals are. So there are increased online delivery options for CCSAI offerings, develop feedback model and data decision-making model, create intentional personal interactions, increase integrated offerings with college departments, develop our external resource and advocacy network, ensure inclusive offerings, and develop a service and activity evaluation protocol. So tonight you will be hearing an update from each of the 7 deliverable leads, just providing an update on what each group has been working throughout the year and what the next steps for the group are before we end our term in April. So along with other board members, since our AGM in October, I have continued to work in college communities and college working groups, such as the Smoke-Free Campus Committee, the College Policies and Procedures Committee, the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act Committee, and many more. We have also participated in the College Student Alliance Advocacy Summit, which was a conference organized for student leaders across Ontario to get together to learn about advocacy efforts, advocacy issues, and how we can advocate for students on campus and also in the province. Another major duty that the team and I have been working on lately is the transition for the new board. So we have all prepared transition documents for our successors, and we will be also doing other activities and planning for the transition to be effective for the next incoming board. We are also, several of us, attending a conference that starts this week. It's another College Student Alliance conference that is focusing on transitioning boards and projects, and will also focus on the recent news that we've heard from the ministry and all the changes that are coming in fall. So related to the changes that the ministry has announced, today you will be hearing a little bit about that, and you'll have an opportunity to ask college representatives questions about those changes. But please be patient, as we still don't have all the details, and we're still waiting to hear many details and the nitty-gritty of the changes. And that's all for my update tonight.
Any questions for Sam or comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to next item on the agenda, which is College Student Alliance update. We have Justin Lim here to present the update. Mr. Lim?
Good evening. Hello. Hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Justin Paulo Lorenzo Lim, and I currently represent College Student Alliance as a vice president. And alongside with me, another member of the College Student Alliance board is Jasima Hewitt. She works as a director for the said organization. Excuse me. College Student Alliance is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that believes in working collaboratively with a post-secondary education, stakeholders, and government to improve the college experience. We are advocating voice on behalf of Ontario college students in partnerships with student leaders. Student leaders from across Ontario met last November for Advocacy Summit, whereas delegates had the privilege to discuss timely and relevant issues faced by post-secondary students. We met with MPPs and ministers of the current provincial government to discuss tuition caps, mental health, and other issues. And this week, student leaders, including the CCSAI from across the province, will meet for the last time for this school year in Conestoga College for our February conference. College Student Alliance also leads the conversation in regards to the recent announcement of the government. The organization strongly advocates for student rights and the student associations. As CSA, we believe that affordable post-secondary education is important, alongside both physical and mental health on campus. As we all have heard, that the government has announced that there will be changes to OSAP. We agree on reducing the cost of post-secondary education, but we believe that students still need the grace period to pay their loans. College Student Alliance also advocates for student associations in regard to the changes in ancillary fees that provides numerous service to better the lives of the students on campus, fees that provide food banks, mental health aids, and health plans. And as for the CCSAI, these are fees that pays for events, lawyers, and advocacy programs, health plans, part-time jobs on campus, and many, many more. And as we wait for further directives by the government, we in College Student Alliance will continue to advocate for student rights. We stand by our pillars: affordability, accessibility, accountability, transferability, and quality. We will continue to advocate and have the discussions with our government, stakeholders, and our members.
Comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, I'd like to ask Penny Kurlick to give us Executive Director's update. Ms. Kurlick?
I'm going to hand me the microphone. I'm not going to sit down. As you may or may not be aware, we are the first student association that was incorporated in the province of Ontario. And in October of this year, we will be celebrating our 50th anniversary of being incorporated of this fine institution at Centennial. It was the first college in Ontario, and we're the first incorporated student association. Over the past 50 years, we have done a lot for each of you and all the students before you. We've hired hundreds of students. We've built beautiful facilities. We've given tons of leadership opportunities. We've worked side by side with the college, making it a better place for our future students and our past students. We have lots of great people that work for you and with you. We even have some ex-old student leaders that still work with us to this day, and that we're really proud of having them support the initiatives that the Student Association does. But we all know that we heard a big announcement a few weeks ago about things that would drastically change how we look at the Student Association. But as Executive Director, I've worked with 31 boards over 31 years, and every year, every board has stepped up to every challenge. And I'm confident that this year, this board will step up to the same, and we'll work side by side with our partners in the college to accept this challenge. And we're excited about it. We know we're going to have to make some hard decisions, but we will make right decisions to make sure that student success is at the forefront of all of the work that we do. So we're blessed tonight to have a few colleagues from the college with us to give us an update. And so I'll keep my comments brief and invite Craig and Lisa to come up and speak. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So next we have Craig Stevenson and Lisa White for Centennial College update.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, can I just say an incredible word of thanks. Penny mentioned working side by side, and I think the fact that you've invited me here to be a part of this speaks to the warmth and the close working relationship between ourselves and the Student Association, which incidentally was ratified really at the annual general meeting in 2017 when we signed the Memorandum of Understanding, and one of the most comprehensive documents, I believe, in this province between an association and the institution, which really clarified expectations on both sides with regard to the college and the Student Association. And we've seen some marvelous work through the association, which I just want to thank you for on behalf of the college over the last year. Sam mentioned the evidence-based practice now that you've adopted, which I think is fantastic. It's something that we are working as well. And at the college, in our decisions, they're informed based on data, based on feedback, based on the evidence. And with regard to your work, I know Sam and Penny meet with me regularly, so I hear about the conversations around advocacy, the bylaw, the visioning work, just absolutely splendid. And I think the transformation and the Transform the Future funding as well. Thank you on behalf of the college for all you've done with that, particularly, if I may say so, the sleeping pods. I think, and that's really gets to the heart of the matter with health and wellness. You may be aware that there was a national, as we were participated in a national survey on health, and one of the things where we were above the national average was with sleep deprivation for students. So to provide those sleeping pods was a practical solution to a challenge that we've had. And I also want to thank you for I mentioned it earlier, but I want to give a couple of examples about that close working relationship, particularly with Sam being on the smoke-free policy discussions and the practices. As you recall, we now are smoke-free, but that decision wasn't reached until early October, and we went smoke-free in January. It required an immense amount of thought and work to prepare people, to prepare the campus physically, and to make sure that we had the supports in place for those who wished to stop smoking if they chose to, and Sam played an instrumental part in that. And I know a number of you have been on interview panels as well over the last year, and I want to thank you for everything you've done. And it's been a very busy year for the institution as well. As you know, we've opened another campus, a 5th campus at Downsview. And we've gone smoke-free, and we've engaged in a major IT review, and we're hoping to see the results of that over the next couple of months. And thanks to one of the members of this board of directors, we're actually increasing as well the hours of progress for the Learning Commons around access in the evenings till midnight, and that announcement will be made shortly. And within our own service of student and community engagement, and with Lisa White here, who's our registrar, we have launched, as a number of you will be aware, a leadership academy, the David Lowen Leadership Academy, and health and wellness has been reviewed, and we've got a new health and wellness unit that we've restructured and hired a director for. And like yourselves, have really put a lot of thought into health and wellness for students, which we see as an absolute priority. So I'm just giving you a sort of a taste and an update of where we are on a number of matters, but really I'm also here tonight to share what I know, and I wouldn't say it's an awful lot yet, it grows by the day, what I know about the announcement by the government on January 17th regarding some changes. There was 3 key changes around tuition, OSAP, and also the ancillary fees. So if I may, I'll just go and I want to just make sure I'm sharing the right information. So forgive me if I do look at my notes on this. But the first point is, I'm sure people are aware there will be a 10% reduction in tuition for domestic students, and that will be communicated as soon as feasible to students. Around OSAP, there are a number of changes, a number of principles. Now, the technical briefing regarding OSAP has not taken place yet. Lisa will be attending later this week. So we know some elements, but we don't know necessarily all the detail. So, for example, we know now that there will be more loans, less grants. We know that for students to be considered independent, they have to have been away from school, high school, for 6 years, not 4. And the support for the expectation is that the student's contribution will increase from $11,000 to $20,000. So those are just a few examples. And I just, if I may, want to quote from our president, because our president sent a communication and said, we have not yet have all the information around OSAP, but she said, we have, and so we're trying to assess this. We're trying to clarify where we are with the impact on our students. As a college, and I quote, as a college with among the highest number of students accessing their education through OSAP, we have an ethical responsibility to try to minimize any negative impact. What that means, we'll be working that through, but I just wanted to make sure that I shared the President's statement with you all so you're clear where we stand on that. The last area is around ancillary fees, which is known as the Student Choice Initiative. And this is that there now will be fees that are considered essential, mandatory, and others that will be considered optional. And the reason for this, from the ministry's perspective, is to ensure transparency. So we've got to make sure all the fees are transparent for students. So when you enroll in September, and it will be for September, you'll have all the fees listed that are optional with I suspect, a descriptor, and you can choose to opt out of those fees. And so the idea is also to be consistent and amongst the colleges in this approach, and to make sure that the students have choice in what they opt into, what they opt out of, forgive me. And they're very clear that they expect, and I quote, expect us to adhere to the framework and respect the spirit of this initiative. And we will definitely be doing that, and ensuring that there is clarity around these fees, because at the moment, some fees are what we would call bundled. They'll have a number of items under one fee that go to different elements. And so what we'll be doing is unbundling those fees and making it very clear what is deemed essential and what is not. And there's around 8 to 10 broad categories of what's deemed essential. And I don't want to go through the whole list because they're still seeking some clarity around that. But for example, athletics and recreation, careers and student building fees will be considered essential. And so we're working through what that means. And so obviously it's a great concern to the Student Association as to what fees. And we had a technical briefing at 1 o'clock today, and Lisa and I, and we called, well, the first call we made was straight to Penny and Sam to share what we know and what we need. It's not clear cut at this stage. There are a number of fees that come to the association that we believe parts of those fees will be essential. So it's not as though the students can opt out of all fees that come to the Student Association. However, we do need to unpack that and to use the term unbundle and be clear what is essential and what isn't. And until we've done that exercise, it's very hard to say what the impact will be. But once we have it, I think that's the first, and we're waiting actually on a briefing note, because what we got today was a verbal introduction to the concepts and the principles, and we'll have that in writing. And once we've got it in writing, you have my word that we'll be sitting down, Lisa and I, with Penny and Sam, and really getting into the detail of the working very closely with you to determine what the options are. And we do know that by the summer, we really need to have up and running. Once students start to pay, we need to have up and running the opt-out feature, which must be online. The ministry have made that very clear. That has so it's not a case of coming and telling me that you want to opt out or telling one of the team. Actually has to be able to be online, which is in line with their principles of simplifying processes. And it is a time of the unknown right now, and really exploring. But please rest assured that from the moment we've heard this news till this point, and it will be throughout the next few months, again, you have my word that we're working closely with the leadership here at the association to work through this together. Thank you. Questions? Lisa, would you like to add anything that I've said?
I don't think so. I think that covers it all. Unless there's any specific questions. I know I was here a month or so ago and we had a similar conversation. We have a little bit more detail now, but not enough to really make those hard choices about is a fee in or is a fee out. So we can certainly make those once we get the classification document, but for the meantime, we have a little bit more clarity.
Thank you.
Thank you, Craig and Lisa. I would like to move on to the next item on the agenda, which is Vice President updates. We'll start with Karamjit for Progress Campus.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. In my role as Vice President, please be advised of what projects and initiatives I have been involved with from the months of November to January. I continue to sit on college committees like College Council, Ancillary Fee Committee, CCSAI Governance Committee. Also, I was part of Smoke-Free Campus focus groups. I, along with few other board members, also participated in College Student Alliance Advocacy Summit to take the issues to MPPs and discuss those with other student associations to get their insights and some ideas that how they are dealing with issues coming up like mental health, transit, and all those things. We were able to provide class presentations by talking to professors. I myself did class presentations in my own classes. Along with Iwan and Sam, I was part of Cold webinar where we were talking about how to support student for faculty and staff, that even if they don't interact with students on a daily basis, but how they can make their life easier. I was out there making student questions meaningful and having direct interactions with students, engaging them in different events. I was helping campus director along with Miguel last week, distributing fruits just to make students aware of eating healthy and talking about services we provide by CCSAI. And later I will be giving update for ensuring inclusive offerings deliverable, which I'm leading this term. Thank you.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Singh? Okay, moving on. Storeyard Center, we have Jasima Hewitt here. Go ahead, Jasima.
Good evening to you all. So since the AGM in October, I have attended college council meetings. As Mr. Lim mentioned, I was appointed a director with the College Student Alliance. I've been working with my deliverable group, ensuring inclusive offerings. Before the holiday break, I met with different members of staff within the Story Arts Center to plan events for the students and get them the best possible experience for the holiday break. This also included setting up a tree in the front foyer and getting students to share how they celebrate the holidays. Since the beginning of the new semester, myself and my campus director, Ivan, have met with different members of staff to plan events for students during the winter semester, as well as for Black History Month. And this semester, I'm also planning with program coordinators who teach at the off-campus sites attached to Story Arts to visit these sites and the students. Thank you.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to Mr. Lim from Morningside Campus Updates.
Good evening once again. I also happen to be the Vice President of Morningside Campus. I have the privilege of continuing my service to the students of Centennial College as the Vice President of Morning Campus since May 1st, and ever since the annual general meeting in October. Please be advised that in my capacity, I have been actively involved in several projects and initiatives. I continue to be a member of the Executive Committee of the CCSAI and a member of the Governance Committee. After the annual general meeting, I have been actively involved and critical of the bylaw and the changes in policies that governs the Student Association. I am also a member of two deliverables. One of them is the Develop External Resource and Advocacy Network, an integrated offering with college departments. Additionally, I continue being an active member for the following committees with the college, such as College Council, Ancillary Fee Committee, TEDx, and SETA's Curriculum Review Committee. Alongside board members, I have been continually working closely with the principal of Morningside Campus, Dean Patrick Kelly of the School of Engineering, and the School of Community and Health Studies, as well as several departments in regards to specific initiatives to Morningside Campus. And I am proud to let everyone know tonight that both projects, increasing mental health on campus and increasing involvement both in and out of campus, are both in place. I also met with the Office of the Development and Alumni Engagement in regards to scholarship opportunities for both international and domestic students. Alongside other board members, I have also attended conferences such as the College Student Alliance Advocacy Summit, where we discuss with MPPs. I personally have met with MPP Chris Glover, the critic of college and universities, to discuss issues that are timely and relevant to post-secondary students. I have also had the privilege of attending the Center for Innovation of Campus Mental Health conference last year with Ms. Solda. Attending the CICMH gave me the inspiration and ideas to try on campus and continue advocating for mental health. In this role, I look forward to the remaining months working on the projects with the board to ensure student experience in the college is at its best. I will continue to work hard in supporting the student body in every way possible. And finally, I am determined to achieve our goals as a board for this year and ensure that the students of Centennial College are successful now and in the future.
Thank you, Justin. Any questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to Ashton B campus updates. Ms. Garcia?
Okay. To the Board of Directors and all members, as a Vice President for Ashton B Campus, I would like to thank you for your continued support. The new year has brought significant change to Ashton B Campus dynamics as we wished our aviation program students all the best in their new facility. Your presence at our campus is missed. We hope you are all transitioned and doing well in your new facility at Downsview Campus. As a new Vice President for Ashton B Campus, I have been in transition and doing my best to get up to speed with our governance committee as I continue to support the programming committee as well with their endeavors. With that said, I continue to engage my Ashton peers and have planned a series of informational booths to get students up to speed with our services and updates. Lastly, I look forward to the opportunity to attend my first College Council meeting and gather with our Centennial College faculty face-to-face. Other projects that I have been working on along with my colleagues are the develop feedback model and data decision-making model deliverable. And I've been working on transition documents for both the vice president and campus director of Ashton campus as we prepare for our upcoming elections. Finally, I have in sight collaborations with the college departments to strengthen our peer relationships, community, and promote engagement with our student body. Again, thank you for your continued support.
Questions or comments for Ms. Garcia? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Garcia. Moving on, can we get campus director updates? We'll start with Progress Campus. Taranjit Singh.
Very good evening, everybody. So during the annual general meeting, I updated on my participation in the programming committee and deliver intentional personal interactions. Since then, we have been having meetings on how to offer unique events by going out and knowing from students what they really want. I, with our whole events team, have organized various events since then, including movie nights, Halloween events, video game lounge. The latest were open mic, where we had a number of performances and students participated very actively. Another one was Take a Fruit, where I, with other two board members, went around campus distributing fruits to students to make them aware about eating healthy, and also making them informed about our CCSAI services. Now we'll be coming up with some other exciting events, and I have always started planning for a year-end party. Most of my event ideas come from students. I like to go out and ask about what they would really want to see, and I'm really thankful for students' participation in our events. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Any questions or comments from Mr. Singh? Okay. Moving on to Story Art Center, I would like to call upon Ivan Sharma to present his updates.
During the general annual meeting on October, I've said that I'm in the programming committee where we talk about making events and working with my vice president, Jasima. I'm currently leading one of the deliverable groups called Create Intentional Personal Interaction, along with a few other board members, where we have been working hard to create a platform for students to raise their voice and get to know them in a more personal level. Since then, I've been involved in numerous things such as cults, along with Karamjit Singh and Sam. And then we talked about how to promote student success, as Karamjit was saying. I've been involved with winter orientation at Morningside campus and Story Arts, International Welcome Day, and Bell Let's Talk, of things I've been involved in. I continue to work hard to meet the needs of the students by creating events to engage them and increase their knowledge about what CCSAI does and services they can take advantage of. I'd like to thank everyone who has been supporting me throughout this journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. Questions or comments? Okay. Lastly, we'll move on to Morningside campus. Dilsher Singh.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dilsher Singh, and I serve as a campus director for Morningside campus. After annual general meeting, I have been engaging with the students to know the ideas and ways to improve the student life. And as students had lots of questions and queries regarding study classes, life, work, and health, and they were answered and tried to be held with the first priority. As I talk about the activities, there were lots of events organized by our events liaison and myself, with the help of the Vice President Justin and Advocate Matthias and our athletics representative Paige. We did classroom visits to provide information and knowledge to students with some free swag and arranged Bell Let's Talk booth. For the fun activities, we had events like Spooktacular, Warm Up in Morningside, Diwali, and Christmas celebrations. And to provide knowledge, we had event juggling your life like a pro. So at the end, I just want to say that I am a part of a board, the association that stands for the students, made by the students, and serve for the students. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to stand, speak, and work for you.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. Any questions or comments for Mr. Singh? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to next item on the agenda, which is athletics representatives report. Ms. Olda? Go ahead, Paige.
Okay. So since our last meeting, I have promoted at every campus to start a women's hockey team. I've created and executed a sleep event, which I collaborated with Toronto Health. I've helped promote breast cancer awareness in collaboration with athletics and wellness. I spoke at the Thrive kickoff event, was at club orientations, supported multiple varsity teams at their games, and also went to the campus mental health conference in November. I also sit on many committees and try and do things that students will be interested in and engage in health and wellness activities.
Thank you, Paige. Any questions or comments for Ms. Solda? Okay, moving on to events liaison update, we have Simona Agrawal.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Simona Agrawal, and I serve as the event liaison for CCSAI. And first thing, I would like to thank you, everyone, for always supporting me and showing your trust in me. This year, we were very glad to work with the college supporting of experience centennial orientation alongside many other areas of college. This year, programming committee has brought many great events such as Carnival Party, Distress Week, video game launch, Paint Night, Casino Night, the year-end Glow Party, and Halloween Haunt, and many more small activities. I also went to represent CCSAI at COCA, where we, with other few individuals from like staff and other members like Randy, to learn new activities and games or the parties we can do at the college. Then moving forward, programming committee shifting its focus for this semester on events that will provide students with life skill, opportunity for career, and personal development.